Perfect. Well, welcome everyone to another reactor session. We're very excited to have you, and we're joined with some great speakers today. Before we begin, I just wanted to share a couple of housekeeping notes. The session is being recorded, so if you have any questions or you want to rewatch it, you can go to our YouTube channel to watch that. I'll put a link in the chat as well. Apart from that, please follow our code of conduct. It's pretty straightforward. I'll put that in the chat as well. And I don't know if you have a slide on that, Guenda, but please just be respectful in the chat as you communicate with your fellow attendees or the speakers. That's really what the code of conduct is all about. Secondly, if you could please check into today's event. There's a link that is in the chat as well, but I'll add that in the chat. It's basically aka.ms/reactor check-in. When you get to that page, it'll ask you for a code. The code is 13371. It should take you only like 30 seconds to check in. But what that does is it gives you access to all the links that will be shared in today's session. It also puts you in for the running for a voucher for participation. And all the info for that is on the meetup pages, so you can check that out if you're interested in what that voucher is all about. But yeah, so the check-in process is really helpful. It helps us know who's in the room too. So yeah, that's in the link. Please go ahead and do that. And then lastly, I just wanted to mention if you require closed captioning at all, Teams has great functionality on that. You can just click the 3 buttons in your toolbar, turn on live captions, and you can read along with the workshop. And actually, I forgot one more thing. We'll have the meeting chat open at all times. So if you have any questions for the attendees or the speakers, or even myself for any logistical reasons, you can't hear audio, anything at all, please put that in the chat. We're all monitoring it, so it should be great. And without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to Guenda.
Hi, hello everybody, welcome from my side too. So my name is Guenda Sciancalepore. I'm a cloud solution architect working with partners in Microsoft. I'm specialized on AI and machine learning, and I'm based in Italy. So today, I hope I just got your curiosity about the title of this session, which is What If I Was Your Child? And before starting and make you understand why I choose this title, I want to tell you a few things about me. First thing is that my passion for technology comes far along in the past. When I was very young, I decided that this was the thing that I wanted to do. And we can make accountable 3 people mainly for this choice. The first 2 are my parents. So the one on the right is my father, the one who put me when I was 4 in front of a computer. And the one on the left is my mother, the one who tried to took me away from the computer because I was spending too much time on it. And the second person that actually made me dream about this kind of job, I think you all know him, is Bill Gates. So when I was really, really young, I was 6, and I was in that age where everybody asks you, what do you want to do when you grow up? I was watching the news with my father and my mother, and I remember this interview where he was in Africa and he was talking about how the beauty of the technology and how technology could actually help people and make other people's lives better. And I fell in love with that thing, and I was so amazed by the thing that he was doing that I remember that I looked at my dad and I said, okay, I want to work for that man. And my father is an entrepreneur, so I was like, are you sure you don't want to work for daddy? And I was like, no, I want to work for that man. So my passion for technology started there. My parents were super supportive. They helped me out in deciding which were the best path to go where I wanted to go. And they helped me also defining which were the things that I may need when I wanted to start that career. So they told me how languages were important. They told me you need to know a lot of maths, and you need to understand how the programming works. And so I had very clear ideas on what I wanted to do growing up. So I knew that I wanted to study in high school's mathematical subject. And when it came to university, I already knew that I wanted to do computer science. And while I was there doing the computer science bachelor degree, I discovered a matter that was the human-computer interfaces, and I fell in love with it. There was this professor that was talking about how to make a computer talk and think about like a human brain, and I was super amazed about that I decided that I wanted to continue my studies, but I wanted to continue them in neuroscience. So I did my master in neuroscience. I started understanding how our brain works and how this can be related to our to computer science. And the last thing you need to know about me is that I'm an aunt. I have a brother and a sister. They are bigger than me. My brother had a daughter a few years back, and this is my first niece, so I was very excited because I was the smallest one in the family, so I was the youngest. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because the idea of this session came out from the first Christmas that I spent with her, because in my family we are a bit competitive, you know. We tried always to win the best sister or best brother award in the family. So we try always to challenge each other to do the best gift or do this kind of stuff. So when my niece came around and it was the first Christmas she was celebrating, me and my sister, we tried to compete to be the best aunt in the world. So of course, the first question came to my mind was, what should I buy her? So, which is the perfect present that I can buy her so that she enjoys it. And even if she's just almost 1 year old and she won't probably remember in a few years back, but doesn't matter. I want something that she will enjoy, and maybe it can also bother my brother and his wife. So I had this question and I had to find the perfect gift. And you need to imagine this a few years back was pre-COVID period. So I was going around, I traveled a lot as a CSA in Microsoft. So I traveled a lot, but then this December came and it was time for me to find a gift because time was running out. And you need to remember that atmosphere. I know that now it's warm and hot, so springtime, maybe summertime, even better. But you need to remember that atmosphere that there is when it's Christmas. So all the lights around, all the places light up and with Christmas decoration, and of course a lot of people inside the malls and the shops looking for the last minute gifts and the gifts in general. So I never bought a present for a kid, so I was a bit concerned about what to take. But you need to imagine me inside this huge place. I don't know if you ever got inside one of these toy shops, which are pretty big. And you need to think about them like this. When you enter, they are basically divided in two. So there is a pink area, and there usually is a blue area. And when you go inside, there is full of toys, and you're surrounded by any kind of toys. There are dolls, there is the medical kit, there is a washing machine, a microscope, a Hoover, some tools to build something, puzzles, tea, some stuff for the tea ceremony, robots, all this kind of stuff. So it's full of things. And you need to imagine this. So I enter the shop, it's Christmas time, there is a Christmas song going on. And I look for somebody to help me actually decide it, because I have an idea. My niece always had a few things that she loved. First of all, she always dances when she hears music. And the second thing she likes to drum on stuff, so to make noise. So I was looking for something like that, but I was so overwhelmed about all the things that were around me that I was asking to somebody to help me. So I approached the shop manager there and I was like, hi, hello, sorry, I just wanted to know, I'm looking for a kid toy. And it doesn't even look at me because it's putting things on the shelves, and it doesn't look at me, and it tells, okay, what age? And I'm like, oh, she's almost 1 year old. Okay, boy or girl? I was like, she's a girl. And it points just out to the pink area of the shop, and it tells me, go there, you're going to find something interesting. So there is another thing that I need to tell you. So from my university study, I kind of like to define me half a data scientist and half a software engineer. So I usually like to use the data to help me driving decision. And this is also what I actually tell customers or partners when I talk to them and talk about AI. So I knew I had a problem, which was finding this gift. And I decided that since there was too many information surrounding me, I could use actually something to help me driving the decision that I was looking for. So I did what I usually do with partners. So I defined the data science process. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but basically it is divided in few steps. and I use the technology to actually help me driving this decision. So first of all, the first step of any data science process is starting with a question. And the question for me was very clear. Can I create a machine learning model that helps me categorizing toys and find a toy that was perfect for my niece? So that was creative, maybe musical, and for a girl. The second step usually is pre-processing. I needed to find the data that actually that I would have used to actually find the solution to my problem. And in this case, what I used was the toy catalogs, the PDF files that sometimes you find in the toys websites and this kind of stuff. So they already actually categorized the toys for me, because for each of the toys, for each of the images that I found about the toys, there was a small description that was written for girls or boy, the age. Some of them were tagged with scientific toy or creative toys or dancing or musical toys. So there was some categorization. So for me, it was perfect. And the only thing that I needed to do was just doing the pre-processing. In this case, was just cutting the image from the PDF and store it, and then save the categorization that were already there. So reading the information inside the image and saving and storing the image somewhere. The other step is, of course, to decide the technology to use. So as I told you, it was a very busy time, and I needed to take this decision as quick as possible. So I needed to use something that helped me out as soon as possible. And to do so, I decided to use Azure Cognitive Services. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but basically Azure Cognitive Services are some API, pre-trained APIs that you can actually use to take some decision in very specific areas. So the idea behind the scene is that we already built this model for you. So Microsoft took care about the training, and they basically packed them so that you can just use them. And they are divided in 4 categories, the one that you can see here. So vision, speech, language, and decision. And each of these categories has actually a set of APIs that you can use. And you need to imagine that the advantages of using these services is, of course, first, that you don't need to program anything because they are there ready to use for you. You just need to understand which specific problem they solve, and if this specific problem is actually similar to the one that you are trying to solve. And the second thing is that, of course, since they are APIs, so they're just an URL that you call inside your application, you can use whatever language you want, and you can use, and you just need to actually decide the API and then write the code of your application. So as you can see, there are 4 different areas. In the vision area, there is all the APIs that actually do analytics on images. So for example, there is this computer vision API that actually takes an image as an input. You send an image to a service, and it actually gives you a description of what's inside that picture. So I don't know, if I take a picture of me right now, it's going to say, okay, there is a girl in front of a computer indoor looking at a screen. And this is a description of the image. If I take a picture of the people that are in the park right now, it's going to tell me there are some people in the park. And this is something that you may need to do. Then we have some face API that actually, of course, as you can imagine from the name, take a picture always as an input, and usually is a picture of a face, and gives you information about this face. So imagine, I don't know, biometric scenarios in which you want to use faces to actually implement the login inside your application, or you want to get information from the people in the image. So it can be, I don't know, I want to guess the age of the person there. I want to understand his feelings, so the emotion that he's having, if it's happy, if it's surprised, fearful, or this kind of information. Or maybe I'm in a shop and I want to actually put some of my products in front of the person that is testing my application. And so I need to find where the eyes are, where the nose is, where the mouth is, so I can get all this information just from sending an image of a face to this service. Then we have Form Recognizer, which is a service that actually allows you to basically analyze forms any kind of forms. You just need some models of the type of information that you want to extract, and it allows you to extract a pair of key values. So I don't know, imagine you're doing invoices and you want to understand which are the product listed in your invoice. Then you can train this model on your own invoice and telling him what you want, telling it to the service, what do you want to take out of it. And then we have the one of the services that actually work on videos. So it's called Video Indexer. It allows you to do some processing of batch videos that you send in, and it gets you some insights, such as how many people are inside the video, the captioning of what they are saying, which are the key phrases, key information, if there are logos, if there are famous people inside, what is their feeling and how they are talking about what they are talking. So if the sentiment is positive, negative, or neutral, it gives you a lot of insights on the video that you're sending. Then we have the language part that, as you can imagine, is all the written language. So you can send documents and use, I don't know, for example, text analytics to do analysis on which are the entities inside your text. So if you're looking at in a text that comes from a newspaper and you want to understand if some people like politics is involved, or you want to find landmarks from the text, or you want to understand the sentiment of, I don't know, this feedback that it was given on your product and this kind of stuff. We have, of course, some translator APIs that allows you to translate from one language to another. We have a Q&A maker, which is basically a service that allows you to create easily a bot that takes your FAQ question and transform them in a way that if the user interacts with your service, it actually has the impression to talk with somebody, and it can find the frequently asked question very easily. So it doesn't matter if the person that is asking the question doesn't write them exactly as you wrote in your FAQ, but he's going to be able to understand which is the question and associate it with the correct answer to it. Then we have everything related to speech. So also in this case, we have translation, of course, from one language to another. We have the ability to have translation from text to speech and speech to text. Speech to text. We have captioning, so you're allowed to use the service that you're using actually on Teams uses some of these services, and it's the way to see the captioning while somebody else is speaking. And then we have the last category, which is decision, and it's a way to make decision faster. And in this case, we have different APIs such as personalizer and anomaly detector. Anomaly detector, imagine you want to understand if some sensor or a time series that you are sending to your service is about to have some anomalies while it's working, and you want to be able to detect that. So if it's a sensor, for example, you can actually change it before it breaks. And personalizer is a recommendation system. So I imagine you use Netflix, Spotify, Amazon, and you are used to them telling you or suggesting you something similar to the things that you are listening, watching, or buying. And that is a recommendation system. So it's based on your interaction with the products, and it sends you out some things that can be interesting also for you because they are part of that category, or because you had an interaction in the past that was interesting and it was interesting for you. There are some of these services that I didn't show to you or talk about, but just for one reason. So these are pre-trained services as is, and you need, and they solve a very specific problem, and they are trained on generic data on behind the scene. But what if you have some specific data or domain data that actually needs some more training to make the algorithm perform better on your data? So we give you the opportunity to use on top of each of these categories some customizable API. In the case of vision, it is called custom vision. In the case of language, it's called language understanding. In case of speech, it's called custom speech. And in case of decision, is our personalizer. What does it mean? it means that in each of these areas, you can actually build on top of your data. For custom vision, you can use your own images to actually train a classification or an object detection inside the images. For our language understanding, we're talking about the ability to actually answer correctly to the user that is interacting with you. So imagine a scenario with a bot in which I want to understand what the person is asking and answer accordingly. And for custom speech, it can be, an example can be, I have some custom domain words that are not common English, common Italian, or my own language. And I need to be able to recognize them, and maybe the services that I'm using are not able to actually detect that kind of word, so they put some random word, the one that sounds similarly to that, and I want to be able to train it so that it always recognizes the name of my product. So imagine, I don't know, the scenario can be Mac Drive uses this in US and uses custom speech to actually write down the order so that they can recognize all the products that the McDonald's actually serves. So going back to the problem that I had, so was, can I use the toy catalog to actually categorize my data? Of course, as I told you, I did the pre-processing, and the pre-processing was done in two ways. The first one was using my text analytics to extract the information from to extract and understand the information from the images. And the second one was the use of custom vision, because I want to do a categorization, I want to specify my own categories, and I want to use my own data to train the algorithm. And I wanted to do as quickly as possible. So let's use custom vision and see how it works and how I use it to actually get to the solution. Custom services usually have a service, a portal that you can use. In case of custom vision, it's called customvision.ai. You just need to sign in with your Microsoft account. And when you sign in, it's going to open to you this area, which is your project area. Here, if it's the first time that you join, of course, you won't have any project. In my case, I already have two. But let's see what happens when we want to do a new project. So I click here on new project. I'm going to zoom in so that maybe it's clearer. You can still see my screen, right? Just checking. Yes, perfect. Thank you very much. So, okay, let's imagine that we want to create a project. Let's call it Toys Demo, okay? You can give a description if you want, and then what it's going to ask you is a resource. So a resource is a key that you're going to create on Azure, and you can create it from here, doing create new that you find in here on the right. Or in my case, is connected to my Azure account, so it actually already sees the keys that are associated with my account. After that, you have two kinds of projects that you can create. So the first one is a classification problem. When we talk about classification problems, are problems in which I want to classify or categorize the images in one or more categories. So when I wanted just one category per image, it's called a classification, a multi-class classification. When it's more tags per image, it's called multi-label. What it means can be, imagine a scenario in which I want to categorize dogs inside an image. And I want to be able, if I want to be able to classify one dog per image, then I'm going to use the multi-class. But if I want to take a picture of all the dogs in the park, I'm going to and have their breed showing up to me, I can use the multi-label one. Then here down, you're going to see the domains. Domains are basically the images that we use to actually train the computer vision model behind the scene. And of course, you can use a general domain as a baseline, or if you're doing a project that actually can reflect itself in one of these other categories, you're going to focus even more your training on the specific domain. So it can be food, landmarks, or retails. As you can see, we have also a compact version of them, and the compact version is just done so that you can actually export your model on iOS and Android, so for mobile applications. The second type of project that you can do, well, I'm not going to show you, but just for your knowledge, is an object detection project. And object detection means that you can do logo detection or product detection inside your images. Or maybe you want to find inside the image the defects of your product. So imagine you have a manufacturing scenario in which you have a camera taking picture or a live stream of the product coming up from the machinery, and you are able to actually detect some of the possible defects, and you want to be able to classify them. So you can use an object detection scenarios, or you want to be able to detect your logo inside the page of some event that you are actually participating with, or you want to find the logo inside outside the shop that you just opened to see if everything is correct, or you have a new shop and you want to see where they put your product inside the shelves, and you want to be able to detect it. So these are all type of object detection problem where you can actually take advantage of this service for you. So we're going to do a classification actually here, because my problem is, I repeat it just so that we are all aligned, I want to be able to categorize the perfect toy for my niece. And I'm going to use it a single tag per image, because I'm going to send him all the images of my toy catalog, and I want to see if it's able to categorize them for me. So I'm going to choose the multi-class, and I'm going to be taking the general domain because there is no specific on toys here. And I'm going to click on create project. So when it creates the project, as you can see from here, well, let me zoom out a bit. Okay, it's going to open for you this new page where, as you can see, you have on the left a small menu where you can see the image tagged or untagged, and you can search for different tags. And here on top, you have all the different tabs that it allows you to see. So the training images, then you check how it performed the training, and then you can also test the prediction. But let's start from the first step. So let's add our images that we want to train on our machine learning model, okay? So I'm gonna do add images here. I'm gonna go on my demo materials. I'm gonna do, I'm gonna have my picture here, and I'm gonna send it a few images because I don't want to use many for this demo. A few images of what was in my toy catalog, and I want to see how it trains them. So it's gonna add all the images that I selected. I'm gonna give it girl toy. I'm gonna give it a tag, and I'm gonna do upload. Okay. And as you can see, it just tagged them. It creates my tag here, and there are no untagged images. Let's do the same thing and click on add images, but for picture of toys that were categorized as boys toys on the catalog. So I'm gonna click on all of them, and then I'm gonna save them as boy toy. Okay, now as you can see, I didn't add many picture of it, and I want to show you how good and how well it performs, even though I'm not using many picture. Of course, in every machine learning model, the more data you have, the better it is. But just for the sake of this demo, I want to show you that even if I have 9 pictures for one category and 10 for the others, I'm still able to have a model that is actually performing using this service. So now that I have my picture, we already did the pre-processing. Now what we need to do is the training. So we need to train the model. How I do that? I click on this green button on top, and this allows me to choose my training, and I can do a quick training or an advanced training. What is the difference? When you do the advanced training, you can actually choose how many hours he has to continue trying to do the training, and when he has to stop, so that you can actually reduce the cost. Maybe you have many images, you're doing a very huge and big model, and you don't want to spend much more than 24 hours on the training, and then you want to reduce that time, then you can actually tell him, okay, I just want to do 12 hours of training, then you stop, and whatever you were able to train, that is my model, okay? this case, of course, for the sake of the demo, we're going to do a quick training. And I'm going to click on train. It changes for me the tab. It goes to the performance tab. And as you can see, I can see a few things here. First is the probability threshold, which is the score for the prediction that is going to show me. So anything under 50% when I'm going to test my model is not going to show up. Everything from 50% and up is going to show up. Of course, you can actually change this and do the train and tell him, I don't know, that you want an 80% accuracy to be sure that everything that is going to show up is at least 80% sure about the categorization is doing. You're going to find this probability threshold also in the object detection one. And you're going to have also the overlapping threshold. So when he finds many bounding box, one overlapping the other, and you're going to choose which is the threshold that is going to have to use to show you the result. So it's going to take a while, not that much. While we are waiting, I'm going to show you just a few buttons here that you see here, the three buttons. The first one, the one resembling the word, is the one that you can use to publish the model. Once you finish, if you are happy with the results of your model and you test it and you like it and you want just to publish to consume it, you can just click here and it's going to give you the URL that you can use to call the model behind the scenes. So directly from here, you don't have to go anywhere else. You can do everything just from this UI. The second thing that you can do is download a compact version of your model so that if you want to deploy it on Edge or on some device, you can actually just click here. It's going to create for you a zip file that you can actually just take and use in your application whenever you want. So let's wait a second, otherwise I can, in the meanwhile, try to open it up. Let me see. Okay. I have it here, otherwise. Okay, so you're gonna trust me, but I hope that in a few moments it's gonna stop the training. So when you finish the training, as you can see here are all the buttons that you can see. And here it gives you some information about how good or bad your model performed. And these information are about precision, recall, and AP. Of course, in this case, everything seems going very, very good for us. But the nice thing that I want to show you and underline a bit is this part, the performance per tag, because it allows you to see first the distribution of your different classification category. So that you can see if your data set is well distributed or bad distributed. And you can see also the performance per each of these tags. And we're going to see why it's important by the end of this session. When you finish it here, you can actually also test quickly the model to see how good or bad it performs. So let's try it. And I'm gonna browse one of the test images that I have to see how it goes. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna give him this nice pink car, which is tagged as a girl toy. Let's see how it goes. So as you can see down here, it gives me the prediction and the probability. And as you can see, it tagged it as a girl toy for the 99.5%. And the number of images is the one that you saw before. So 10 images for the girls, 9 images for the boys, and he's able to actually categorize this. So we did all the steps. So we asked ourselves the question, we did the pre-processing part, we chose the tool that we use to deploy our model, and we also did the evaluation of the model. And it seems that everything works, right? So let's go back to the slides. And we did this step I just showed you. And let's discuss the results. So I did this experiment, as I told you, to categorize the toys for girls and boys, and then to find a creative toys versus non-creative toys. And this is what I found out, that the model was actually able to categorize the toys for girls and for boys. What I noticed is that all the toys for boy were blue, and all the toys for girls were pink. Then I tried to do, after this one, I created another model in which the two categorization were creative and non-creative toys. And it worked, was able to actually detect what was categorized as a creative toys versus a non-creative toy. But no girl toy was stuck as creative. And no scientific toy was meant for girls. So I know, I cannot see you right now, but I know that you're like looking like this and say, so what are you saying? What do you want to say? That girls can be creative? That a girl cannot love other colors except pink? Or that girls cannot be a scientist? We're better than this, right? So if there is a problem, for sure is a problem of the machine, of the model that I use, right? Well, actually, we are not that better than this. Actually, the problem is not the machine. And I want to give you two examples. And the first one is a video that I hope you're going to be able to hear and see.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual
Toxic
harassment.
masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it?
It's likely happening here in bullying as well.
A problem
We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long. We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy? What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
But she says it's the
And there will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Smile, sweetie. Come on.
To say the right thing. To act the right way.
Bro, not cool. Not cool.
Some already are. In ways big
Yo, men.
and small.
I am strong.
But some is not enough.
That's not how we treat each other, okay? Okay.
Because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
So this is a video Gillette actually sent out a few years back. I hope you like it, and you're maybe wondering, why did you show us? It sends a good message, right? Yeah, it actually did, but the response from the public was awful because many men actually commented on the spot saying that was colluded with the Me Too movement, and they never will actually buy any Gillette razor ever again because they didn't like the sense of it. They didn't feel like this was something needed from Gillette. And if you still don't believe me, I'm going to show you another example. And the other example is about a book that I think was out just in the US about Barbie, the doll. I guess everybody knows it. And the book was called Barbie, Can I Be a Software Engineer? And inside the book, there is Barbie talking about developing a video game. And there is a picture in which she's talking with a friend, and this friend says, "Oh, nice puppy, Barbie. Can I play your video game?" And Barbie answers, "I'm only creating the design ideas. The one that are actually developing the video game are Steven and Brian." So the first question is, Barbie, can I be a software engineer? The answer is no, you should ask Steven and Brian. So as you can see, we are not that better than this because we are all full of unconscious bias. Everybody or anybody of us. What is unconscious bias? Unconscious bias is stereotypes that you actually learn in an intentional and automatic way when you are influenced by the people surrounding you, the way you grow up, your family, your friends, the experiences that you do. So it's nothing that you actually do on purpose. It's how the society actually, and this is the way you interact with the society. So everybody has unconscious bias, and the model that I just show you that I did with the custom vision service is actually full of biases. Biases the toy catalog actually gave me, that the toys can be just pink for girls and blue for boys, that if I had to buy a microscope, I will buy it for a boy, not a girl. So these are biases that the society gave us, but they are not good. And we need to be very careful when we use this kind of tools, because AI is here and we are the one that are actually developing it. In the same way we're teaching a child how to live in the world, how to walk, how to talk, how to ride a bike. And it's going to be influenced by our beliefs. And we need to be very careful about what are our beliefs and what are we actually teaching the machine. So the problem is not the machine. The problem in this case was me, that I teach the machine to categorize in a wrong way some toys. And if I still didn't convince you, there is a test called the implicit association test done by Harvard that actually shows you your unconscious biases. In different categories, I just took a screenshot of the one that takes male, female versus science versus liberal arts. And if you see it here on the top corner, in the first picture, you see that you have male and science as a category together, and on the right, female or liberal arts on the right. And in this test, what you have to do is, it's going to appear a word here in the middle of the screen, and you need to say in which of the two categories, in the four categories, belongs, sorry. So if in this case was humanities, and of course it's liberal arts, so you had to say right instead of left. And until the categories of male and science and female and liberal arts are together, you're very quick in doing this. But if you switch it, if you just switch male with liberal arts and female you associate it with science, then you're gonna see that you're gonna take more time to actually select and to actually put the word that appears in the middle in the right category. So you can try it. It's online. You're gonna find it. Just look for the implicit association test, and you can actually test yourself and see which are your unconscious biases. So, from the first question that I ask you today, what if AI was your child? What if you have to teach a machine how to categorize people, or to choose which one gets the loan, or which one gets a job? Are you really sure that you want to teach a machine to be biased as we are, or you want the machine to be better than us? Before leaving you, I just want to finish the talk with a quote that our CEO did during an interview. The interviewer was asking him what he thought about the diversity and inclusion in the workspace. And what Satya said is a beautiful phrase that was, it is not just having the representation, it is how the culture of your organization is going to help people who come from diverse backgrounds to do their best work. And when we talk about diverse background, I know that right now I just talked about boys versus girls, but it can be data scientists versus software engineer. It can be diverse backgrounds such as religion, sexual orientation, disabilities, and everything you can think of. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what is your background. The important thing is that with that, in a diverse environment, we can all learn from each other, because it's the only way in which we can actually be aware of our unconscious biases, understanding a different point of view, a different than ours, which doesn't mean that you need to agree, but at least you can open your mind and hear a different voice, a different point of view. By the way, I found the perfect toy that, as I told you, was creative. I didn't want a pink toy for my niece. And as I told you, I wanted something that also my brother could remember. And this was a Sunday morning, and my brother was wake up like this.
Right.
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 What do you think? I think she appreciated that, right? So thank you everybody for listening. And if you have any question, I'm here and I'm very happy to answer them. I'm going to stop the sharing so that I can see it. I see a question. Would you like to join a side project? Depending on the side project. But yeah. I cannot hear you, but yeah. If you want to write in the chat, I don't know. Thank you very much, Steve. They're very nice. I love them. Thank you, Giorgio. Yes. Amen, please. Sure. On custom vision, there are some docs that I can send you for sure. I can send you some documentation that comes from our documentation. If you mean also on fairness and bias in AI, we also have some stuff that you can find always in our docs. I can share you some links and put them in the chat. So this one is the portal that you can actually visit. And then for the custom vision documentation, so you can get started, you can find everything here. So that if you want to get started, is there. There is also a free account that you can use. So you just register on the Custom Vision website, and you should be able at least to create one custom free key that you can use and get started with that. And then on Azure, of course, if you want to use it more or do more project, you need to associate your credit card, but you can start for free at least. And if you're interested in taking the certification, for example, the AI certification that we have on Azure, custom vision is one of the questions that usually is there, so you can actually get a feeling on how it works, taking and it can be useful for you for as a learning path towards the certification. So if there are no other question, I think we can close. So I can give you back 10 minutes.
Perfect. I'll stop recording.